Quince wanted to portray as a mobster with a low body temperature.
Peter O'Toole is way too skinny.
Well, you can put him in a fat suit.
I suppose. This is fucking, like, proper English Batman.
Well, that's kind of how the Penguin talks.
It's true.
He's a very erudite...
I mean, they cockney him up in the new video games. But...
Well, but he's still supposed to be a proper gentleman.
Yeah, it's true.
We'll get there. A number of filmmakers were attached to Mankwink's script, including Ivan Reitman and Joe Dante. Reitman wanted to cast Bill Murray as Batman and Eddie Murphy as Robin. I remember hearing this.
That would have been quite the film.
Alternate universe.
Yeah, I mean...
I kind of need to see it.
That's a comedy, though, right? You can't...
Well, at this point, they're literally riding high off of Ghostbusters right at this point. So, yeah.
You'd make a 60s-style Batman movie with that cast.
No, you wouldn't.
No?
You'd make something even entirely different. It wouldn't be dark, but it would certainly be a comedy. But I don't think you would do 60s.
Ninja Turtles?
No, it'd be like Ghostbusters. You'd have a wisecracking like Batman.
Because I'm trying to figure out, like, it's a lighter movie, but with darker tones.
Oh, there would definitely be darker tones, but yeah, it would definitely not... It wouldn't be...
What it is.
No, it definitely wouldn't be.
Either way, I want to see that movie.
Yeah. 9 rewrites were performed by 9 separate writers. Most of them were based on strange apparitions. However, it was Mankiewicz' script that was still being used to guide the project. After Pee-wee's Big Adventure became a big hit, Warner Brothers hired Tim Burton to direct. Burton... I don't know how you watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure and go, I know, Batman.
Like, you just directed that guy, like, that's the guy for our dark Batman
Is
movie.
it just the large Marge scene? Is that it?
Maybe.
You know? Like, he knows how to do one jump scare. He must understand Batman.
We'll get there for Pee-wee, but...
Yeah, I don't...
Hey, how do you go from that
I have no idea.
You go from fucking Paul Rubens to The Dark Knight.
I don't know. Right. Burton had then-girlfriend Julie Hickson write a 30-page film treatment feeling the previous script by Mankiewicz was campy. I don't think that's true, but okay.
Campy to Tim Burton might
You
be...
shouldn't talk, man. This movie is pretty fucking campy.
Yeah.
As dark as it... I mean, it's dark in color, not in fucking tone. The success of The Dark Knight Returns and Batman the Killing Joke rekindled Warner Brothers' interest in a film adaptation. Burton was initially not a comic book fan, but he was impressed by the dark and serious tone found in these comics. Good for you. He claims, I don't know if I wrote it down here or anywhere, but he claimed that the reason he didn't read comics was because he didn't know which word bubble to read first. I don't buy that for a half a second.
No, I don't. But it sounds like something like someone would say to try to excuse it.
Yeah, and be like, and he's like, and the killing. I think
plus, it makes him sound like weird and artistic. Like, I
think he said something along the lines of like, Dark Knight Returns was the only one I knew which one to read. It's like, no, that's not true. Like, that's just not true.
Yeah.
But, you know, say what you want.
Yep.
Where am I? Warner Brothers hired Steve Englehart to write a new treatment in March of 1986. Like the Mankiewicz script, it was based on his own strange apparitions and included Silver St. Cloud, Dick Grayson, the Joker, and Rupert Thorne, as well as cameo appearance by the Penguin. Warner Brothers was impressed by Englehart, but felt there were too many characters. He removed the Penguin and Dick Grayson in the second treatment, finishing in May of 1986. Not being thrilled with the script, Burton got Sam Hamm, a comic book fan, to write the screenplay. Hamm decided not to use an origin story, feeling flashbacks would be more suitable, and that unlocking the mystery would become part of the storyline, saying, you totally destroy your credibility if you show the literal process by which Bruce Wayne becomes Batman. That's not true. Hamm replaced Silver St. Cloud with Vicky Vale, and Rupert Thorne with his own creation, Carl Grissom. That's my point. There's no reason for that. He completed the script in October of 1986, which demoted Dick Grayson to a cameo rather than a supporting character. One scene in Hamm's script had a young James Gordon on duty in the night of the murder of Bruce Wayne's parents. When Hamm's script was rewritten, the scene was deleted, reducing it to a photo in the Gotham Globe newspaper seen in the film. Hamm's screenplay went through 5 separate drafts between 87 and 88 and featured less of Batman in costume. No shit. I'll get there at the end of the month. Bob Kane was brought in as a consultant, which was ceremonial and used mostly for publicity. Because, you know, you get the creator of Batman on board. Hey, isn't this awesome? No.
Plus, they put his name on a picture in the...
Oh, he drew that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
okay.
I'll get there. Yeah. That's part of it. Warner Brothers was less willing to move forward in development despite their enthusiasm for Hamm's script, which Bob Kane also liked. Batman was finally given the green light in April of 1988 after the success of Burton's Beetlejuice. That seems a little more likely. Considered for the role of Batman were Mel Gibson, Kevin Costner, Charlie Sheen, Tom Selleck, Bill Murray, Harrison Ford, Dennis Quaid, Pierce Brosnan. He was actually offered the film, but he had no interest in playing a comic book character. Burton was originally interested in casting an unknown actor and offered Ray Liotta a chance to audition after having completed Something Wild, but Liotta declined, a decision which he regrets. Willem Dafoe, who was falsely reported to be considered for the Joker, had actually been considered for Batman early in development.
Ooh.
Producer John Peters suggested Michael Keaton, arguing he had the right edgy, quote-unquote, tormented quality, after having seen his dramatic performance in Clean and Sober. Having directed Keaton in Beetlejuice, Burton agreed. I don't believe that story for half a second. I don't think John Peters went for it, but I'm going to go with that was probably Burton's idea, but whatever.
Although the only thing out of all of that
Mm-hmm.
that intrigues me is Willem Dafoe's the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to see that now.
Yeah.
Because you can do a Dark Knight Returns older Joker and he could be the Joker.
Yeah, you bring back Michael Keaton to play Batman for Dark Knight Returns, and you put in Willem Dafoe as the Joker, or if you can't get Jack Nicholson.
If you can't get Jack.
Which there's a rumor that you could, because he loved playing the Joker.
Yeah,
so there's a chance, even though he doesn't really act anymore, that you could probably convince him, because you could probably have him in and out in a couple days.
Yeah.
Keaton caused controversy among comic book fans who already didn't want Burton directing since he had only done comedy, with 50,000 protest letters sent to Warner Brothers offices. Yes, but now we don't have Twitter.
Yeah,
these people.
Only 50,000, not 5 million.
Yeah, and it's not on the internet where people actually listen. Fearing that they were going campy like the '66 TV series, Kane, Ham, and Uslan also heavily questioned the casting.
Oh, it's Mr. Mom, right?
Exactly. Adam West, I love this. Adam West was angry as he felt slighted by not being cast as Batman, and a letter-writing campaign by his fans began, but this was largely ignored. I love that, and I remember hearing about this. I remember hearing about this. I love this. There's no way he would have ever been cast, but I love the fact that he tried and he got angry about it. I love it. He should have been in the movie. The fact that he wasn't in the movie, I think, is a mistake. He could have easily played the mayor.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a mistake.
Family Guy got to that joke.
Yeah, like I feel like that was a huge misstep. They should have done that, but I don't know. Keaton studied The Dark Knight Returns for inspiration. Yeah, no shit. Brad Dourif, Tim Curry, David Bowie, John Lithgow, and James Woods were considered for the Joker. Lithgow, during his audition, attempted to talk Burton out of casting him, a decision he would later publicly regret, stating, "I didn't realize it was such a big deal." Burton wanted to cast Dourif, but the studio refused. Robin Williams lobbied hard for the part, and was supposedly offered the role when Jack Nicholson hesitated. He had even accepted the role when producers approached Nicholson again and told him Williams would take the part if he didn't. Nicholson took the role and Williams was released. Williams resented being used as bait, and not only refused to play the Riddler in Batman Forever, but also refused to be involved in any Warner Brothers production until the studio apologized. I don't know if that's true, but I remembered hearing about something about that in 95.
It wouldn't be the only time he got dicked around by a company.
No, but I don't know if I believe it. I feel like that might be hearsay, but it's a good story nonetheless.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson had been Uslan and Kane's only choice since 1980.
Makes sense.
Yep. So, Peters approached Nicholson as far back as 1986 during filming of The Witches of Eastwick. Unlike Keaton, he was a popular choice for the role. Nicholson had what was known as an off-the-clock agreement. His contract specified the number of hours he was entitled to have off each day, from the time he left the set to the time he reported back for filming, as well as being off for LA Lakers home games. Nicholson demanded to have all of his scenes shot in a 3-week block. The schedule lapsed into 106 days, as well as top billing on promotional materials. He received a $6 million salary, as well as a large percentage of the box office gross, estimated between $60 million to $90 million. We're not quite sure how much it is, but he made somewhere in there. There was also a rumor, and I think this might be true, that he has to be paid any time anyone uses the name Jack Napier in the comics or whatever. True or not, his name actually was never used in the comics until 2018, out of continuity, in a limited miniseries called Batman the White Knight, and its follow-up in 2019.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm like,
Curse of the White Knight.
No one's really ever brought that name up again ever
Literally,
since that movie.
Batman the White Knight and its follow-up. I haven't started the follow-up, but Batman the White Knight is a fantastic book, and it is a complete love letter to 89.
Okay.
Like, the Batmobile used in it is the 89 Batmobile. Batman kind of has that same outfit, like... It's very much like this. I can't remember the name
want to
of who
read that
wrote it.
because I'm all about this movie. So.
No, I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
With Nicholson cast, the budget rose, and the studio was afraid that Burton wasn't up to the task of such a large production. All the producers did a lot of what they called hand-holding to make sure he was able to handle it. Basically, what that means is they stuck their hand up his ass and used him like a puppet. So Tim Burton did not direct this film. That's what I was saying before of, like, kind of Tim Burton movie. It's not really his movie.
Like, cut in action, that's it?
Yeah, pretty much. He really didn't have a say in anything.
He sat in the chair.
He kind of did. He definitely had a lot to do with the look of it. We'll get to that in the movie. But as far as directing it, this was all the producers. They kind of ran with it kind of thing.
We'll get to that next week.
Yeah. And you'll see what I mean when we talk about Batman Returns. Sean Young was originally cast as Vicky Vale, but was injured in a horse riding accident prior to commencing of filming, since there was supposed to be a scene on their date of Bruce and Vicky riding horses. Young's departure necessitated an urgent search for an actress who, besides being right for the part, could commit to the film in very short notice. Peter suggested Kim Basinger. She was able to join the production and immediately was cast. Yeah.
Sean Young has a very interesting history with the Batman movies.
I mean, next week is when...
That's the
shit
story.
gets fun. But yeah, she literally had to back out of the filming of this movie because she was learning to ride a horse for a scene that was supposed to be in the movie that was cut.
That's gonna burn.
My heart goes out to her, especially with what happens with the Batman Returns of it all. This poor girl really wanted to be in these fucking movies, and it just didn't pan out, and I feel terrible for her. Because that's just, god damn it, that's some bad luck. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Robert Wool was cast as reporter Alexander Knox. His character was originally supposed to die by the Joker's poison gas in the climax. But, as he says, they liked my character so much they decided to let me live. Doubt that. Actually, I don't know. Maybe that's not true, because he does have a shit ton of screen time.
But what's weird is he doesn't come back, so why bring him? Why not kill him if you're not going to use him again?
I don't know. They didn't even have the sequel planned.
Yeah.
They had no fucking plan for the
But
sequel.
He was great in it. Robert Wool is great.
He really is. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Robert Wool, but he knocks it out of the park.
He doesn't really do much. It's like this in Arliss.
Yeah, and Arliss is shit. That's why.
Yeah.
Burton chose Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent because he wanted to include the villain Two-Face in the future film, using the concept of an African-American Two-Face for the black and white concept. Williams took the role with the express purpose and put it in his contract that he be brought back to play Two-Face. Warner Brothers had to buy out his contract when they decided to go with Tommy Lee Jones and Batman Forever, which clearly disappointed Williams. We'll get there in 2 weeks. It's just dumb.
He got his day in the sun.
He did,
all
but
right.
Still, not cool.
Not cool.
And especially considering what Tommy Lee Jones does.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. Nicholson
convinced the filmmakers to cast his close friend Tracy Walter as the Joker's henchman Bob. Fuck yes. Irish child actor Ricky Addison Reed was cast as Dick Grayson before the character was cut.
Good, though.
Yeah.
Good choice to do that.
I think so.
I don't think a Robin fits in this film.
It was removed by Warren Scarron before the revised shooting script. He actually, I think he was also. I meant to read it before we started this, but I think he was also taken out of the novelization. So I think they did, because the horse riding scene that the Batman and Vicky Vale have, and there's also one. I don't know if I mentioned it here or not. There's also one where Batman rides through the fucking town on a horse.
Is that why that's in Batman Begins?
No, that just sort of happens.
Okay, it's just
sort of a thing that happens. Yeah, but yeah, there was a whole scene where he chased after the Joker on a horse. But that is in the book. It's not a terrible scene. It's not necessary, but it's not a terrible scene.
Yeah.
But during that scene, it clears up something near the end of this movie that makes no fucking sense. I'll get there.
Yeah.
Filmmakers considered filming Batman entirely on the Warner Brothers backlot in Burbank, California. Ironic. But media interest in the film made them change locations. It was shot in Pinewood Studios in England from